Okay, I've got this piece in position now, and I'm using the curve there so that I can get away from the top of the cylinder head. The right angle is a little too much here. Oops, sorry. The compressor will actually hit this, so my intention is to bend it up in this kind of direction. But before I do that, I'm going to drill a couple of holes in this and use some roll pins to hold it in that location. The reason being that I want to weld it, but I've got all this crap on it at the moment, you know, all this blue tape. So I need to make sure that I get it in the right position. Once I've taken all the tape off and cleaned up all the edges, so that I can put it back in exactly the same position that I've got it in, because this is a good position, and then I can weld it, and then later I'll weld the roller pin holes up. I'll just weld them up. And in fact it's worked out well, because as you can see there, because of the cylinder head and where the bracket is, there is a step. So had I tried to do that in one piece, it wouldn't have worked. Now all I have to do, is get this off. You may think, well, why don't you just get the alternator out of the way? The reason is simple. I need to know where the alternator is when I put in the compressor. So it's a lot of fiddling about, but we will get there, and I'll bring you along for the ride. Okay, so that I can get things back where I need them, as you can see, I have put in 2 roller pins. Those holes I'll just weld up afterwards. So now what it means is I can strip all this tape off and start to clean edges up, so I can get a good weld down here. Excuse me. And a good weld down here, and a good weld across there. Now these are all good metal, so my hope is that once I clean them up properly, I should get a nice weld. Now it has to be understood, I am not a welder, but I will do my damnedest to make this reasonable. So next stage is to clean all of this up, get it ready for welding, put the pins back in, and then weld it. Wish me luck. Okay, so now I've cleaned up the areas here. I've put the 2 pins back in, so I'm back where I should be. Cleaned up the back, cleaned up here. Next is to weld this, and once I've welded it, then I can take the pins out, weld up the pin holes. Then we'll work on the rest of it to see what I need to do to get mounting brackets in. Long, laborious process, but it's going to be fun. Okay, I've mentioned it before, I'm no welder. This one wasn't too bad. Kind of wandered off a bit there, not sure what happened. However, never mind. Let's flip it over, see if we got some penetration. Yeah, look at that. Got some good penetration there. So now I've got to do a weld along there and a weld all the way down there. Let's get on with it. Okay, looks like I missed there. Nice weld, but I missed. And down here, I had the gun too far away, so the gas, the weld wasn't getting shielded. Okay, and do note, I do have my welding flip-flops on. They're special for welding. Alright, I'll let this cool down now. Then I will be able to give it a grind, and then offer it up to the car and see what piece I need to do next. I hope you don't find this too boring, and you can see how an idiot welds. Do note, I have a brand new fire extinguisher. As you will recall from my previous video, I had a little bit of a accident and had to use my extinguisher, which I then immediately dumped and picked up a new one. Also, to mention that, yeah, I'm welding here on carpet. Now this will, you know, once if a hot piece goes on there, it'll burn, but it should just smolder out. However, you must do fire watch. I will stay in here when I've finished welding for at least an hour and keep inspecting this area. Now this is one of the potential brackets. I've still got to finish grinding this to make a nice curve, and that will fit around the compressor. And once I've got it to fit around the compressor, then I can mark where the holes would go, and then I can hopefully mount it on the plate that's going on the car. Okay, this is the first part of the bracket in position. This piece may not make the final cut. I may just chop it off, I don't know yet. And I've only got 2 bolts in, as you can see, excuse me, see down there. Next is to offer up the compressor and fix the front mounting point. Then I will be able to see where the rear mounting point needs to be. It may be some kind of weird angled bracket. I'm not sure yet. It'll probably come off from down here and then up. This may even have to extend forward for the bracket. I don't know yet. That's just something I'm going to have to figure out as we go along. As I say, this is a whip, work in progress. So I'm going to whip it. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge for me. Maybe someone with more engineering skills would do it differently. But with the tools I've got and the brain I've got, this is the way I'm going about it. And like it or lump it.